Let me tell you something powerful today. Before wealth reaches your hands, it first visits your mind. The difference between those who dream of success and those who achieve it is simple. They act as if they are already where they want to be. They carry the mindset, the habits, and the confidence of the person they want to become long before the world sees their success. The first step to changing your life is to change the way you think. If you want to be a millionaire, you must begin by training your mind to think like one. Success doesn't start with money, it starts with belief. If you see yourself as average, you will live average. But if you see yourself as capable, valuable, and worthy, your actions will begin to align with that vision. When you visualize the future you want, something powerful happens. Your brain starts working to turn that vision into reality. Every day you wake up with a sense of direction because you are no longer living for survival. You are living for a purpose. This is how leaders, innovators, and creators move ahead. They see tomorrow so clearly that they walk towards it even when others cannot. But mindset alone is not enough. If you want to act like you're already a millionaire, you must also adopt the habits of the wealthy. Millionaires are not born with discipline. They build it. They wake up early, they read, they learn, they plan. They do not let emotions control their day. Instead, they follow a system that keeps them moving forward no matter how they feel. Ask yourself today, what habits are shaping my life right now? And are they leading me toward the person I want to become? Time is the one resource millionaires guard fiercely. They know money lost can be regained, but time lost is gone forever. While many waste hours on distractions, successful people treat every moment as an investment. They focus on what builds them, what teaches them, and what multiplies their future opportunities. If you want to live like a millionaire, start valuing your time as if every minute has a price tag. Another key is learning to think in terms of solutions, not problems. Average minds complain, wealthy minds create. Life will throw challenges at you. That is certain. But your response to those challenges will define your growth. Do you freeze when things go wrong? Or do you ask, how can I make this work? The person who sees possibilities where others see dead ends becomes the one the world turns to for answers. And that is where success begins. And let us not forget the power of people around you. Your environment shapes your destiny. If you spend your time with negative, small-minded individuals, they will convince you that your dreams are too big. But when you surround yourself with visionaries, thinkers, and doers, they push you to rise higher. Choose your circle wisely because energy is contagious, and so is ambition. Finally, before the world gives you recognition, give yourself permission to act with confidence. Success often comes to those who already carry themselves like they deserve it. This is not arrogance. It is faith in action. Opportunities are attracted to confidence, not fear. Walk, speak, and make decisions like someone who knows where they are going, even if you are still on the journey. When people talk about success, they often start with strategies, plans, or opportunities. They talk about investments, businesses, and innovations. But here is the truth very few realize early in life. Everything begins in the mind long before it appears in reality. The power of mindset is the foundation of every dream that turns into success and every ordinary life that transforms into something extraordinary. It is not luck, it is not timing, and it is not even talent alone. It is the way you think, the beliefs you carry, and the inner voice you choose to listen to every single day. Think about this carefully. Before any millionaire built their first company, before any world-class athlete won their first medal, before any inventor changed the world with a single idea, they had to fight a battle in their mind. The battle between self-doubt and self-belief. The battle between, what if I fail? And what if this works? And the side they chose to feed determined the life they built. This is why some people with fewer resources rise to greatness, while others with more advantages remain stuck. It is not the circumstances that define your future. It is the mindset you bring into those circumstances. The mind has a way of shaping your reality in ways you cannot see at first. When you believe you are capable of more, when you tell yourself that you can and you will, something changes inside you. Your energy shifts. Your actions align with your belief. You begin to approach life differently because you no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstances. You start to see yourself as the creator of possibilities. That mental shift alone can change everything because success always starts with the question, why not me? But here is what most people get wrong. They think they need to wait for proof before they believe. They say, when I have money, then I will feel confident. When I get an opportunity, then I will act differently. That is not how success works. You do not wait for the evidence before changing your mindset. You change your mindset first, and then the evidence begins to appear. The wealth, the opportunities, the success, they follow belief, not the other way around. If you only believe when things look good, you will quit the moment life gets hard. But if you build a mindset that refuses to break even when nothing seems to be working, you develop the one quality every successful person shares: resilience. You see, mindset is not just about positive thinking. It is about training your thoughts to work for you instead of against you. A weak mindset sees obstacles as the end of the road, but a strong mindset sees them as lessons, as challenges to overcome. Two people can face the same problem. One will give up, the other will grow stronger. The difference is not the problem. The difference is what they tell themselves about the problem. That is why acting like you are already a millionaire begins inside your head. It is not about pretending to have wealth. It is about thinking like someone who refuses to quit. Someone who sees opportunities where others see walls. Someone who believes that growth is always possible, even when resources are small. Because the person who wins in life is not always the one who starts with the most money, the best education, or the right connections. It is the one who refuses to let fear and doubt control their mind, the one who chooses courage over comfort, belief over fear, action over excuses before anything exists in the real world. It first exists in someone's imagination. Every building you see, every business empire you admire, every breakthrough invention that changed history, it all began as a thought in someone's mind long before it became reality. And this is why learning to visualize the future you want is not just a motivational idea. It is one of the most powerful mental tools for success. Because the truth is, if you cannot see the life you want in your mind, you will never create it in your reality. Visualization is not daydreaming. It is not simply wishing for things to get better. It is the intentional act of painting a clear and vivid picture of the life you want, the person you want to become, and the success you want to achieve, until it becomes so real in your mind that it starts to influence the way you live today. When you visualize with clarity, something powerful happens inside you. You begin to align your thoughts, your energy, and your decisions with that mental picture. It is as if your mind becomes a magnet pulling you toward the reality you keep seeing. Think about how athletes train. Before stepping onto the field, before running the race or taking the winning shot, they spend time visualizing success. They see themselves crossing the finish line, holding the trophy, hearing the roar of the crowd. Why? Because the mind does not distinguish much between what is vividly imagined and what is real. When you repeatedly visualize victory, your brain starts to believe it is possible, and that belief shapes your performance in the real world. This is why so many winners, whether in sports, business, or life, credit visualization as a key part of their journey. When you see your future clearly, you stop drifting through life. Suddenly, your goals have faces, your dreams have timelines, and your actions have meaning. You no longer wake up wondering what to do next, because your vision gives you direction. A person without vision can get lost in distractions, negativity, but a person with a clear mental picture of where they are going will keep moving forward, even through storms, because the destination in their mind is stronger than the obstacles on the path. But here is the catch: when you visualize, you cannot think small. The problem with many people is not that they aim too high and fail. It is that they aim too low and succeed. They see themselves only surviving, so that is exactly what they get: a life of survival instead of success. If you want to act like you are already a millionaire, you must see yourself thriving, not just making it through the day. You must picture yourself building, growing, leading, and inspiring others. The size of your vision determines the size of your future, because your mind will fight to stay consistent with the picture you feed it every single day. Visualization also changes your behavior in subtle but powerful ways. When you keep seeing yourself as a confident, successful, disciplined person, you start to act like one. Your choices begin to reflect the future you are building. You start saying no to things that waste your time, no to people who drain your energy, no to habits that keep you stuck, because in your mind, you are already living at a higher level. You begin dressing differently, speaking differently, even walking differently, because your mind is already living in the reality you want while your body is catching up to it. We often look at wealthy and successful people and think they have some secret formula, some mysterious advantage that ordinary people don't. But when you study their lives closely, you realize it is not luck, not magic, and not even genius alone. It is habits. The daily decisions, the seemingly small routines, the repeated patterns that over time shape the person you become. You see, success is never built in a single moment. It is the result of the things you do consistently, day after day, when no one is watching, when there are no cameras, no applause, no rewards, only discipline. The wealthy understand this truth deeply. They know that what you do every day matters far more than what you occasionally do with passion. Habits turn ambition into reality. And here is the part many people ignore. Habits are not just actions, they are identities. When you repeatedly practice certain behaviors, you begin to see yourself differently. If you read every day, you start to see yourself as someone who values growth. If you wake up early to work on your dreams before the world even opens its eyes, you begin to see yourself as someone in control of their life. This identity shift builds confidence, and confidence builds results. Let's be real, building wealth is not only about earning money. It is about becoming the kind of person who attracts success through discipline, learning, and focus. Take reading, for example. Almost every self-made millionaire is a lifelong learner. They devour books, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, not because they have to, but because they understand that the mind must stay ahead of the opportunities. The world changes fast, and knowledge is the weapon that keeps you ready when others are caught off guard. Then there is the habit of managing time. Wealthy people treat time like the most valuable currency. They know money lost can be earned back, but time wasted is gone forever. That's why they schedule their days, prioritize important tasks, and delegate what doesn't require their personal attention. Contrast this with the average person, who often lets the day control them, instead of controlling the day. This difference alone can mean the gap between surviving and thriving, because life rewards those who use their time intentionally. Another key habit is financial discipline. It might sound obvious, but many people dream of being millionaires while spending recklessly, living beyond their means, and never learning the basic skills of saving, investing, and multiplying money. Wealthy individuals, on the other hand, respect money. They understand where it comes from, where it goes, and how to make it work for them instead of constantly working for it. They adopt the habit of tracking, planning, and investing long before they actually become rich, which is why the wealth comes to stay instead of leaving as quickly as it arrived. And we cannot ignore health and energy. What good is wealth if you are too exhausted, too sick, or too burned out to enjoy it? Many successful people treat their body like the foundation of their empire. They exercise, they eat consciously, they rest properly, because they know their physical and mental energy fuels every other part of life. Success takes focus, creativity, and resilience, and all of that is impossible if you are constantly running on empty. Most importantly, the habits of the wealthy create momentum. The first time you wake up early, read a book. Save money or exercise, it feels small, almost meaningless. But do it for a week, a month, a year, and suddenly your entire life begins to shift. The results don't show up instantly, but like seeds planted in good soil, they eventually grow into a harvest bigger than you imagine. That's why those who build winning habits act like millionaires long before the money arrives. Because the habits make them ready for the life they want while others are still waiting for opportunities to appear. If there is one thing every successful person understands better than most, it is this time is life's most valuable currency. Money can be lost and earned again. Opportunities can disappear and come back in new forms. Even relationships can be rebuilt. But time once gone is gone forever. Every second that passes is a part of your life that will never return. And yet most people treat time as if it is unlimited, as if there is always more to waste, more to give away, more to throw at things that bring no value to their future. The wealthy, on the other hand, see time differently. They treat it with respect, with intentionality, with the seriousness it deserves, because they know the life you create depends entirely on how you spend the hours no one else sees. Think about this carefully. Every day you wake up with the same 24 hours as everyone else on the planet. The billionaire and the struggling worker both have the same clock ticking, the same minutes disappearing, the same choices about how to spend their day. But one sees time as a resource to be invested, while the other sees it as something to be filled with whatever feels urgent or easy. This difference alone can decide whether you build the life you dream of or whether you spend years wondering where all the time went. People often say, "I don't have enough time." But the truth is, it is not a lack of time that holds most people back. It is a lack of direction. When you don't know what you want, when you live without a clear sense of purpose, you fill your day with things that look busy but lead nowhere. Scrolling endlessly on your phone, watching hours of television, saying yes to every distraction, getting lost in conversations that bring no growth. All of it eats away at the limited hours you have, hours that could have been invested in building skills, learning, creating, or moving closer to your goals. The wealthy know this, which is why they guard their time fiercely. They schedule their day around priorities, not emotions. If something matters to their vision, it goes on the calendar. If it does not, it gets a no. This is not about being cold or robotic. It is about understanding that life is too short to be wasted on things that drain energy but add no value. They know the cost of every hour, not just in money, but in missed opportunities, delayed growth, and unrealized potential. When you start valuing time like money, you stop treating it casually. You begin to ask yourself before every commitment, every activity, every habit, is this worth my time? Will this move me closer to the person I want to become? Suddenly you realize how much of life is filled with noise. Endless distractions, negative conversations, unnecessary drama that keeps people busy but not productive. The wealthy refuse to live like that. They invest their time the way a wise investor handles money, with clarity, with discipline, with the expectation of a return that makes the sacrifice worth it. And here is something powerful. The way you treat time shapes the opportunities that come your way. When people see that you are focused, intentional, and serious about your goals, they begin to respect your time too. You attract others who value growth, who move with purpose, who bring ideas and opportunities instead of gossip and complaints. This is how a single decision, to treat time like the most precious resource, begins to transform your entire environment, your relationships, and eventually your results. One of the biggest differences between people who rise in life and those who stay stuck is how they think when challenges come their way. Because let's be honest, problems are everywhere. Life will always throw difficulties, setbacks, and unexpected storms at you. The question is not whether you will face problems. The real question is, when the problem arrives, do you freeze, complain, and give up, or do you start looking for solutions? Because this single habit of thinking differently can separate the people who keep moving forward from the ones who get left behind. Most people focus all their energy on the problem itself. They talk about it endlessly. They get angry, frustrated, and overwhelmed. They keep asking, why is this happening to me? And the more they focus on the problem, the bigger it grows in their mind until it feels impossible to overcome. But here's the truth. Focusing on the problem rarely changes anything. It only drains your energy, wastes your time, and blinds you from seeing the opportunities hidden inside the difficulty. Successful people, on the other hand, train their minds to think differently. When they face challenges, their first thought is, how can I solve this? What can I do right now to turn this around? They see problems as puzzles to be solved, not walls to be feared. And because they direct their mental energy toward finding answers instead of dwelling on obstacles, they move forward while others stay stuck in frustration. Think about every great invention in history. Airplanes were born because someone looked at the problem of long travel and thought, how can we fly like birds? Electricity spread across the world because someone saw the problem of darkness and asked, how can we bring light into every home? The internet, medicine technology, none of it would exist if people only complained about what was wrong instead of searching for ways to make it right. The world changes because of people who see solutions when others see problems. And it's not just about big inventions or global breakthroughs. Even in everyday life, this mindset changes everything. Imagine two people lose their jobs. One sits at home complaining, blaming the economy, blaming bad luck, blaming everyone else. The other starts learning new skills online, reaches out to contacts, looks for opportunities, maybe even starts a small business. Same problem, completely different outcome. Because one person focused on the problem, while the other focused on solutions. When you think solutions, You train your brain to stay calm under pressure. You refuse to let fear control you. You begin to see every difficulty as temporary because you know there is always a way forward if you are willing to look for it. This mindset not only helps you overcome challenges, but also earns you respect and trust. People naturally turn to those who stay composed and resourceful when things go wrong, and that trust can open doors to leadership, opportunities, and success you never imagined. And here's the powerful part: solution. Focused thinkers never see failure as the end. If one idea doesn't work, they try another. If one door closes, they knock on 10 more. They treat every setback as a lesson, every mistake as information, every delay as preparation for a better strategy. This is why they keep moving while others stop, because in their mind there is always a way forward, always a next step, always another possibility waiting to be discovered. The people you spend your time with shape your mindset more than you realize. Human beings are like sponges. We absorb the attitudes, habits, and beliefs of the people around us. Spend too much time with negative, small-minded, or complacent people, and slowly, without even noticing, you start to think like them, talk like them, and live like them. Your dreams begin to shrink because no one around you believes they are possible. Your energy starts to fade because everyone around you complains more than they create. That's why one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make for your future is choosing to surround yourself with people who push you to grow instead of keeping you stuck where you are. Growth-minded people see the world differently. They don't look at a big dream and say, it's impossible. They say, how can we make it happen? They don't run from challenges. They look for lessons and opportunities inside them. They don't waste time tearing others down because they are too busy building something meaningful themselves. When you spend time with people like this, something incredible begins to happen. Their energy rubs off on you. Their belief starts to infect your thinking. Suddenly, the things that once felt out of reach begin to feel possible because you are surrounded by people who refuse to settle for average. Think about it. If you share your dream with someone and they immediately laugh or tell you it will never work, what happens inside you? A small part of you starts to doubt yourself. But if you share that same dream with someone who says, that's a big goal, but I believe you can do it. Let's figure out how. Suddenly you feel stronger, braver, and more determined. The dream didn't change, the people around it did. That is the power of your environment. History is full of examples where greatness was born in the right environment. Artists, inventors, entrepreneurs. They often emerged from communities or groups where ideas flowered, where ambition was normal, where creativity was encouraged instead of criticized. The people you spend time with set the standard for what you believe is possible. If everyone around you aims low, settling for comfort and complaining about life, soon you start believing that's all life can offer. But when you spend time with people chasing big goals, learning constantly, taking risks, and refusing to quit, you begin to adopt the same mindset almost naturally. And it's not just about encouragement, it's also about accountability. Growth-minded people challenge you to become better. They don't let you stay the same because they don't stay the same themselves. They share books, ideas, opportunities, and advice. They celebrate your wins, but also push you when you get lazy or start doubting yourself. Being around them keeps your standards high because they live with high standards themselves. This is why so many successful people talk about the importance of mentors, masterminds, and supportive communities. Alone, you can move fast for a while, but with the right people, you can move farther than you ever imagined. They see your blind spots, they give you perspectives you missed, and they remind you of your potential when life gets heavy. And slowly, without even realizing it, you begin to think bigger, act bolder, and believe deeper, because your environment feeds your ambition instead of starving it. Act with confidence before success arrives. One of the greatest truths about success is this: the world often believes in you after you believe in yourself. Opportunities rarely fall into the lap of someone hiding in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the evidence of success before acting like they belong there. Confidence is not something you earn after you succeed. It is something you carry before the success comes, something you build even when circumstances give you no reason to feel powerful. Because the reality is, life rewards those who step forward with boldness long before everything around them looks perfect. Think about the people who inspire you, the leaders, the innovators, the entrepreneurs who built something out of nothing. Most of them started with no guarantee of victory. They didn't have a sign from the universe saying they would make it. Many were surrounded by doubt, criticism, even mockery. But what separated them from the rest was their decision to act as if success was already part of their story. They walked into rooms with confidence when no one knew their names. They shared their ideas boldly even when people rolled their eyes. They carried themselves like people who expected growth, opportunities, and progress. And eventually, life rose to meet those expectations. Here's what most people misunderstand. Acting with confidence is not the same as pretending to be someone you're not. It is about carrying yourself in alignment with the future you want, not the limitations of your present. If you see yourself as a leader, you start speaking like one, learning like one, dressing like one, showing up on time like one, even before anyone calls you a leader. If you dream of running a successful business, you begin making decisions with the discipline, focus, and professionalism of someone already running a company, even if right now you're still working out of your bedroom. That inner shift in identity creates an outer shift in behavior, and over time, the world starts responding to you differently. Opportunities are drawn to people who believe they deserve them. It sounds simple, but it's true. When you carry yourself with confidence, you communicate, without even speaking, that you are ready for more, that you are not afraid of growth, that you will not crumble under pressure. People trust confident individuals with bigger responsibilities, bigger projects, bigger chances, because confidence signals readiness, even when experience is still catching up. And let's be real, acting with confidence is not always easy. Fear will whisper that you're not good enough, that you don't have enough money, enough education, enough connections. Doubt will try to convince you to stay quiet, stay small, stay invisible until the day you magically feel ready. But here is the secret: that day never comes. No one ever feels fully ready before they take the leap. Confidence is built in the action, not in the waiting. The more you step forward despite the fear, the stronger that inner belief grows, until one day you realize the person who once felt unqualified now walks, speaks, and acts with the presence of someone who belongs in every room they enter. This is why acting like a millionaire before you become one is so powerful. It is not about arrogance. It is about faith in action. It is about showing up with the energy, discipline, and courage of the future version of yourself until the rest of your life begins to catch up with the vision you've been living in your mind all along. As we reach the end of this message, I want you to remember something very important. Success is not a moment. It is a journey. It is built in the quiet hours when no one is watching, in the thoughts you think, the habits you form, the choices you make when no one is there to applaud you. Every point we talked about today, from building the mindset of success to visualizing your future, adopting the habits of the wealthy, valuing time, thinking solutions, surrounding yourself with the right people, and acting with confidence long before the rewards appear. All of these are not just ideas. They are the raw materials for the life you want to create. The truth is, nothing changes until you do. The world does not hand success to anyone simply because they hope for it. It responds to those who prepare for it, who think bigger than their circumstances, who carry themselves like they already belong in the future they dream about. When you start living, thinking, and acting like the person you want to become, you send a message to life itself: I am ready. Ready for opportunities. Ready for growth. Ready for the success I've been dreaming of. So as you leave here today, I want you to look at your life differently. Treat every decision, every habit, every moment as a seed you are planning for the future. Stop waiting for the perfect day, the perfect chance, the perfect conditions. Begin now. Think like a millionaire. Act like one. Carry yourself with the confidence of someone who refuses to settle for less than their potential. Because when you live like the future you want is already yours, one day will be.